so I had put that Dimension and Fear. It hit me as a good title, and they went for it.
And
so
it's going to be
magic
a great movie, and you're working with two of the legendary cult actresses, Liz Renee and Dolores Fuller.
That's correct.
What was it like working with those two
Oh,
actresses?
they're delightful ladies, delightful people. I was a cinematographer on the show about 30 years, more than 30 years ago with Liz, and so we've been friends that many years. And Dolores and her husband Phil and myself and probably Liz Renee very soon to go to these shows where you sign autographs and all that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun, and I see Dolores more often than at those shows, other than maybe a dinner at her home or something.
Well, we're excited about it. In fact, you brought us along. We have a scoop here. We've got some of the first footage that anybody has seen from Dimensions and Fear. In fact, we're going to watch it just for a moment
No
here.
one has seen it yet. It's
I
brand,
know.
I just got out of the cutting room.
This is a scoop
take
for
a
the
look at it.
entertainment files. Let's run that clip.
I wish I could tell you wonderful, beautiful things, but that's not what I see.
Boy, that was a great clip.
Yeah,
What's the movie about? I mean,
well, this
people get an idea
is
from that.
the artwork now created for us by Visual Identity here in Las Vegas, and no one has seen this either. We haven't gone to print with it yet. No one has seen it. And the movie is essentially about an escaped killer. He's deranged, and he's threatened to kill everybody that put him away. Everyone, the psychiatrists, the judges, anybody. And so he goes about his killing spree. But in order to reach all these people, people get in his way, like a farmer and his wife. He kills them, he steals cars, and he kills the people he steals the car from and their money and so on. And then our young little leading lady, Nicole West, is a television weather report girl, had just finished her internship, and so she's driving in a car alone to the same destination that our killer is pursuing, and so all the way through the film,
Building up
you
the
see,
suspense,
they're going to come together. Her car breaks down, he steals another, his car runs out of gas, he's hitchhiking, she's so all the way through when are they going to get together? And in the end, they do get together.
It's going to be, this is great artwork on here, and all of your posters for your movies have great artwork. One in particular that I've always liked is the Blood Orgy of the She-Devils.
Oh,
That's
golly.
a classic poster. It really is. Is that one of you have favorites in terms of posters that you've marketed the movies with?
Strangely enough, the posters, some of my films had come from posters that the original art was created by a college student. I never had any money to make my films, right? So in any event, the man who did the poster, a New York artist, the man who did the poster for Blood Orgy of the She-Devils was the same one who did the poster for the Doll Squad, and both of which have, achieved a kind of a value amongst the people who collect these things, because I only did one printing on every picture I've ever done, one printing, no reprints. So the originals now are going on these shows for as much as $150. None of it's mine. It's whoever has it, the collection. And if they have a signature on it, it has a value.
That's neat.
So some of them are $150. I even heard of a corpse grinder selling for $300.
Oh, I believe it. How important is that marketing end of it? Because you mentioned the corpse grinders, and immediately I remembered you had those jars. You remember how you marketed that you had jars of body parts?
Yeah, it says, this is human flesh from the corpse grinders machine, and Ted V. Mikels, the corpse grinders.
That marketing it goes back to the days of the William Castle, really, where careful attention on how to market that movie. That's an important part, isn't it?
It's all in marketing. You can make the finest picture in the world, and if you can't market it in some way that's unusual, like a good title starts, it all starts there. If you can't find some way to market it in some unusual way, you're going to play heck ever getting it out there.
I'll bet you. And now, talking about marketing, sometimes other people market some of your ideas. You talked about Doll Squad. Now, that's a great movie that bore more than a little bit of a resemblance to Charlie's Angels. You must have noticed this yourself,
well,
I know.
I will take issue that it didn't bear a resemblance to Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels bore a resemblance.
Right, well put. I stand corrected on that one.
4 years later, they come out with it, and of course they have the same name as my leading lady, Sabrina, and Charlie was the same as my senator, who communicated on a transoceanic walkie-talkie to the girls and so on, and they had all these little funny things like lipstick bombs and liquid they can pour in somebody's drink, and they drink it and they blow up, stuff like that. But it was a fun thing. But there are only so many ideas, they always say in film. And I, since I'm primarily a filmmaker, I'm much more of a filmmaker than I am a good businessman. But I think more in terms of a movie, another movie, another movie, another movie, a good title, a good title. What can I say? What can I make? What can I sell? And rather than thinking about the money part of it.
That's
and
right.
you really are a filmmaker. I mean, you do it all. We're talking directing, producing, and writing, and director, photography, the music director, everything.
I shot every foot of this. I enjoy it. I enjoy the lighting. I've done, what, maybe 1,200,000 camera setups in my day of photography, going way back now. A lot of years, like almost 50.
Really, 50
So-
years.
And I love the actors. We had a guest on the Entertainment Files by the name of Jeff Wayne, and we got into a conversation about the great Wendell Corey. And you directed him in his last feature, which also had John Carradine. What were they like to work with?
Absolute delights. People had forewarned me a little bit about Wendell. Maybe there might be a little difficulty there. And we visited, but strangely enough, I had taken a fishing trip down to Mazatlan, and before I met him, like 2 or 3 years before I met Wendell, I had taken a picture of these people that had strung up their marlin down in Mexico, in Mazatlan. In any event, and it was Wendell Corey and his wife and so on. So we had something to talk about that really clicked right from the beginning. He was a delight to work with. He had a manner, a delivery. He was very laid back, easygoing, and John Carradine is such a prince. We had 4 projects together, and
It's one of the best.
he was just incredible. You would never, with John, it was never a matter as whether he was prepared or whether you had to help him or whatever. You tell him what to do, and if you say move an inch, like I just saw you move an inch, you moved an inch. See, not everybody does that. You say move an inch, they go like this, you know. But
That's
John
right.
Carradine, people like that put their total confidence in you as the director, they will do exactly what you say. And so Wendell and Carradine and all these people will do. You say move an inch, they go 1 inch.
Well,
That's
I adored
great.
and admired him. He was
Oh,
great.
he's a delight to work with.
Yeah.
We were in Midwest. We were in Des Moines doing a picture years ago, and I was also the director of photography on that. And they brought myself in 2 weeks early, and then a week later they brought in John Carradine, and then the company that was there in Des Moines was selling stock, and so we made appearances at Chamber of Commerce meetings and so on. And John and I, we were talking one time over a drink, and he says, "What are we doing here?" In Des Moines, Iowa. None of the rest of the cast or crew or anybody had arrived yet. He says, "What are we doing here?"
That's fun. We know we got something we always do, Ted. We always ask our guests if they were going to be stranded on a desert island with just 5 movies that they can put into their VCR and watch. Which 5 movies would you take? Now, we're not going to let you include your own.
Okay.
A lot of other people might, but we're going to put you on the spot.
Well, in the first place, for me to be even able to take the time on a VCR to watch a movie, I'd have to be stranded on an island.
There you go.
As I get home from the editing room or whatever at 1 in the morning to have my lunch and dinner, and
No
people
time.
ask me, "What did I see this on TV?" When am I going to do it? Between 2 and 5 in the morning? I try to sleep then. Anyway, probably I would like to have along with me Excalibur.
Excalibur, John
Yeah,
Borman.
I
yes.
like that. I also liked Dr. Zhivago.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have enjoyed Tarzan, the one Legend of
Greystoke?
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that one.
Good film.
And of course some of the Bridge on the River Kwai. That's
Classic.
that's my type of thing. And then going way back, because I still like the feeling of instilling in every movie a little bit of laughter, a little bit of drama, a little bit of tears, a little bit of a heart tug, romance, and so Breakfast at Tiffany's would be another one.
Great
So
movie.
they're all a little bit different, and
Those-
strangely enough, none of them are horror pictures, but I find that it's tough when you're working literally without money. You can make a horror picture, but you can't make a $60 million picture for nothing.
Well,
know?
horror
No,
movies are
you
fun.
can't.
And there's
Well-
money in it, too. I mean, Corpse Grinder's a big hit for you,
Well, that
wasn't
was
it?
my big one.
It
That,
really
that
was.
paid for a
Great
lot
movie.
of things.
You know what? We're going to have to take a break, but will you come back later and join us for our
Of
video
course,
picks?
of
We're going to be
course,
back
of
with
course.
more Entertainment Files right after these messages.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files, bringing you the best in cult film classics.
And guesting with us today is movie star and cult icon Liz Renay, whose books, movies, and paintings have made an indelible impact on everybody who's discovered them. Ms. Renay has had an intriguing life. It's almost like one of her own movies. She's gone from prison cell to movie screen. She's one of the most unique characters you will ever meet. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Liz.
I can't go wrong being with two handsome men.
Thank you very much.
I like
And
that.
speaking of two men, there was a fight recently about you between fashion designer Todd Oldham and Sylvester Stallone. The New York Post recently reported that they were fighting over your book, My Face for the World to See, and Todd Oldham won out $250,000. He got the rights. What was the news like, hearing that exciting news that a movie is going to be turned out of your book?
Oh, I think it's great. I can't wait to see it. As a matter of fact, I hope that Todd will allow me to be script consultant, and more than that, I hope he'll let me play, not myself, not even my mother, but my grandmother, my favorite person in the whole world.
Oh, that'd be a great part. It's going to be a great movie. I'm so excited to hear that.
It's wonderful. You've had such a fascinating life. You started off was a Marilyn Monroe look-alike contest. Is that correct?
Well, that was one of the things that happened early in my career. But how I got into movies, I literally fell into movies. I went out to see a movie studio. I'd never seen one, and I was anxious just to see what a movie studio looked like. I walked in to Warner Brothers with a friend that took me there, and the producer of Sugarfoot just rushed forward and said, "Jessica, you're Jessica." I said, "No, I'm not Jessica. I'm Liz Renay." And he said, "Well, you're the perfect Jessica." I said, "I don't even have a Screen Actors Guild card. I'm not an actress." He said, "Well, go get her a Screen Actors Guild card." And he sent somebody rushing out. I was working the next day.
And your first TV series, you got the part.
Yes.
And history was made, as they say.
That
I
day.
just fell into it.
That's
Who were some of the
terrific.
people you hung around back then? A lot of celebrities,
Oh,
I bet.
listen, when I first got discovered, so to speak, by falling into this movie, well, they put me in an acting class there with Natalie Wood,
Oh, wow.
and Tab Hunter used to drive me around. I didn't even have a car. And so he'd drive me around the studio, and then finally I met George Raft, and he started having me go read for bit parts with a chauffeur-driven limousine.
Oh.
Can I ask you about a romance with the great Marlon Brando? Can we get into some of that area?
Well, you know, actually, that was just a real quick thing. I had a big romance with Burt Lancaster, also Glenn Ford, of long duration, but this was just a little quickie thing with Marlon Brando.
That's
A
very
little-
exciting.
Over a few,
Now that's
few
the
little
stuff that
days.
books are made
Oh,
of.
yes.
You can see why Liz Renay has written 6 books, yes. Each one of these is a book.
And when did you start painting? When was that?
Oh my God, I thought I invented paints. I wasn't even in kindergarten. And the reason I thought I invented paints was because when I sketched things, I was always drawing and writing stories about my pictures, and I wanted a tree to be green. I didn't want it just to be a pencil sketch. I wanted skies to be blue and everything. So I started mixing up things, like I'd use clothes bluing mixed with toothpaste for the sky, and I'd put toothpaste clouds, and beet juice for red and mustard for yellow, and mix all the, and I thought I had a big invention, and I'd become a rich person through my inventing paint. When I went to kindergarten and they handed me some crayons, I said, "Oh my God, somebody else invented them better than mine."
They're great paintings, and in the
something.
upcoming Ted V. Mikels movie, Dimension of Fear, people can get a little glance. You play a psychic in the film, and I know there's a background shot where people can see one of your paintings. What was it like working with Ted V. Mikels?
Oh, I love to work with Ted. Ted is a wonderful director. He really just lets you go with it and just guides you. He's an awful lot like John Waters in that respect.
Who directed you in Desperate Living, one of the great cult film classics.
But as far as the paintings being in the background, you see my house is like an art gallery. I have paintings everywhere. So when he decided to shoot my psychic scenes in my house, well, you know, the paintings are there everywhere you look. And the reason he decided to do that is because some of them sort of fit with the psychic. Like the genie materializing out of Aladdin's lamp, and centaurs chasing wood nymphs around an enchanted forest and things like that. So it worked out very well.
That's very, now it was strange circumstances that really unfortunate, tragic circumstances that allowed you to really develop your painting. I said in my introduction, from prison cell to movie screen. Tell everyone a little bit about that.
I just don't want to disillusion you about the tragic thing of me being there, because after a while, when I adjusted to it and I realized I couldn't get out of the damn place no matter what, well, then I tried to figure out what I could do in there to really have a good time, amuse myself, and let them give me 3 years rather than take 3 years from my life.
Right.
So I started painting, and I had an art class, and I did all sorts of things. I wrote the book that that you were discussing a moment ago in there. I did 150 paintings in there. And you know something? Honest to Christ, this is true. It's hard to believe, but I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay there 2 or 3 more days when they got ready to release me, because my art class had not finished the paintings in the chapel, and
That's a great story.
I needed to guide them and help them, and I didn't want to go. I said, can I stay a couple more days?
Liz, you better tell
Wouldn't
Liz
let
what
me.
we're going to put her on the spot, Sean.
That's right. We want to find out from you, if you were stranded on a desert island and could only bring 5 movies, assuming you had a VCR and TV there, what would they be?
You don't have
Well,
long,
Dr.
so...
Zhivago,
Oh, Dr.
for
Zhivago.
sure.
Oh, you share that
And
with
I
Ted.
loved Kirk Douglas in The Vikings. I'd bring that one.
Oh,
'Cause,
this is
oh,
good.
he was too much. I almost made me feel like, you know, it wasn't so bad that he raped these girls, because I mean, he was such a good actor. He just made it seem like it might have been kind of fun. You know, I don't know. I'm very mixed up about that. But anyway, he did do a wonderful job. And let's see now. What else? What else? Well, I'd probably take John Waters' movie,
That would be good.
Desperate Living, because
Desperate Living.
it's my favorite movie that I've ever been in.
Great movie.
And
You got one more. What do you think?
and well, now let's see. Well, Ted better hurry up and get Dimensions in Fear done, so I can see if
okay.
I'd like to take it.
Dimension and Fear. Oh,
Dimension
thanks,
and
Liz.
That's
Fear.
a good one. It's been great talking with you. It really has
been too
It's
short,
been
really.
fun.
It
You're
has.
right. It has
It's
been
been
too
too
short. I'm
short.
just getting warmed
Come
up.
back sometime, Liz.
I
Please
will.
do. It has been our pleasure, and let everyone look out and go rent these
Thanks, Liz.
movies. There are some
Exactly.
classics here. Well, we're going to be right back with a couple of cult video picks for you right here on the Entertainment Files.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files. As you can see on your screen, the answer to who is the director of the cult films Eraserhead, Dune, and Blue Velvet, and of course, the answer to that is David Lynch. And we've got a lot of good video picks in the cult area, and besides all of Ted's great movies, Ted v. Mikels, I recommend all of them. I also want to recommend a kind of a hard-to-find movie called Vanishing Point. It stars Barry Newman, and he tries to drive from Denver to San Francisco in 15 hours. It was a fun drive-in hit, and it's still fun on video if you can seek it out and find it.
It is indeed. I've got an English movie. I have to get those Brit picks in. And that was a 1965 black and white movie, The Loved One. It was directed by Tony Richardson from the Evelyn Waugh novel, and it was advertised as the movie was something to offend everybody.
That's right.
It had Liberace as a coffin salesman. It had Barry Morse, Robert Morley, John Gielgud, an all-star cast, and a very young Paul Williams. It's very funny, and I enjoyed it immensely. I bet you've got a pick or two there. How about something for our viewers out there, Ted?
Oh my! To pick a favorite film?
Yeah, something that wasn't on your list, a guilty
Wasn't
pleasure.
on my list. Oh my! You really caught me there, because I guess I just really enjoy a film that moves people, whatever it is. But I'm primarily, as also being a cinematographer, I'm primarily taken with visual images. I can't look at anything without observing how will that look, how will it frame, what visual image will I get, too much shadow, too much foreground light, what, I can't help but think in terms like that, rather than a favorite picture. I don't get time to watch them anyway, just make them.
Well, there you go.
Time to
That's,
make it.
so you're saying is very interesting. As a filmmaker, you look for something, you look for that medium being the message, and something that excites your senses in the terms of the way it's made is something that works.
Visual images are most important to me.
This is
Yes, that is
absolutely
exactly true.
But come on, a guilty pleasure. One movie that they might find. Now I understand what you're saying, but give us just one that they might. People really listen to this.
Oh
and-
my! I don't. People ask me what is my favorite film. film or so on, and I can't come up with one. I like the medium so well. It's like saying, what's my favorite car? I don't know.
Do you have,
I've only got
do you have
one
a favorite of your own?
of my own. Dimension and Fear is the best example of what I'm enjoying, because right now I'm putting it together inch by inch, like a half second, a second at a time, and I'm trying to keep it under 120 minutes because I shot 30 hours of footage.
And we're going to be looking for Dimension and Fear.
We are.
coming up.
It's come up twice on our list today. Liz's favorite movie, your favorite one to recommend. We better get that in the video stores.
So people are gonna
so
wanna
we
see
can
it.
rent
I'll have it finished by Christmas.
All
We
right.
hope so.
We'll
Thank you
count
for
on it.
joining us. Thank you for your
Thank you
insights
for having me.
into this
Thank you.
business. And thank you for joining us. And join us again next week when we're going to be back with more entertainment files right here on this station.